scenario was I was in the Netherlands visiting my partner. We'd gone to a wedding for the weekend. We went to a theme park, which I love, historically love theme parks. I've not been back to a theme park since. I love theme parks. And it was one of those days where you think, oh, maybe we shouldn't have got out of bed. The first ride we went on, I dropped my glasses on the ride. So we had to get someone to help. It was one of those like roller coaster things, but it was quite a gentle one as a starter point. Anyway, got my glasses back. Then we were going to go on like the ride that goes like upside down and whatever. And on the way there, we went past the log flume. And we were like, oh, let's just go on the log flume. That will be fun. And it was quite a warm day. And so got on the log flume, go up, go down, got a bit wet, but not significant or anything. And we got off the ride and we were walking and we were about to be splashed by the water coming through. So I ran maybe, I don't know, 4 meters. Like it really, in the moment I recall it, it wasn't a lot. And then suddenly I felt like my legs just go. And it was, I don't know if anyone watching the fan of The Matrix, but that bit where they take out the thing in their head and their body just flops. And literally my body, I tried to hand on to the side and I just couldn't. And my legs went and I'm there lying on my back and I hit my head, not significantly because my legs kind of fell first. And my partner like screams my name and he's like, James. And I felt like I'd been out for ages, but I think it was only a matter of, seconds. And, I never like to complain or like make a fuss. I kind of, oh, I'm sure I'm fine. Yeah, okay, let's just get some water. Maybe I'm a bit dehydrated and and I said, let's eat because I'm hungry and kind of just sat there. But we made the decision that let's leave the theme park and, we shouldn't go on any other rides. I was like, fair enough. And then we went and sat. I was flying that evening back to London, left the theme park. On the way home, funny enough, coincidence, met a guy called Rory Sutherland at the airport. And I remember he's a big guy in advertising and marketing, media, and had this conversation with him about my old startup that I was kind of running. And just, I felt fine, got home, and I thought I should call the doctor, partly because I fainted, but also that I hit my head. And anyway, so I called them the following morning. Yeah, I just said, this is what happened. She was like, why don't you come in for some tests and kind of take it from there. Like really in that moment, I just thought, you know what, I'd had a late night from a wedding, been on the ride, maybe a bit dehydrated, but really there was no frame of reference for anything significant or anything that I needed to worry about. The local GP, which amazingly is about 50 meters from my front door, so very convenient, did the initial blood pressure test actually. So she said, stand up and sit down. And she took the test differently and she said, there's something not quite right. And if you go to the Royal Free, they'll give you an ECG, which for reference it's a heart measure, and they've got a 12-lead ECG, which they put 12 different leads around the body, and it measures the electrical circuits of how basically the heart is functioning around the body. And so some people might be familiar. Apple introduced it where you can have a 1-lead ECG. So basically on your watch, just with one sensor, it measures in a similar way, but obviously a 12-lead is much more accurate. I remember just driving. I had an appointment in the afternoon somewhere else, so I drove along, parked the car on a pay and display meter, went into the hospital, had the ECG done, and very quick, very efficient. And you'll hear a theme through my story sharing that the NHS have been unbelievable from start to finish. And in that moment, waiting, they did some blood tests and this ECG. As I'm lying there, the nurse says, can you just wait here a moment? He goes and gets the consultant. The consultant comes in and he asked me the question up front, has anyone had any heart issues in your family or anything? And I said no. He said, okay, well, we need to do another test. So we need to do an ultrasound. And I said, okay. So anyway, they do that. Then it escalates further and they said, has anyone in your family died of a heart attack? And it's the first, again, moment in kind of the sequence of events that obviously things sound pretty serious. And to my knowledge, no, and that's fine. And they said then, okay, well, there's something going on. We don't know what it is yet, but you need to stay in hospital. And the first thought is, well, my car's on pay and display. I need to go and move my car, and like just the, I guess, realities of or the significance of it. Again, and still in that moment, I guess it's maybe you're in shock and you can't quite piece it together. So I said, oh, can I just go and move the car? And he kind of, with a bit of persuasion, he was like, well, how far away? Look, I'm a 5-minute drive away. And he goes, yes, but you need to come back immediately and go into A&E. And when you go into A&E, then we'll be able to get you a bed, but you need to stay in hospital. And I remember leaving, again, in that moment, generally feeling fine, and drove home, parked, and I remember speaking to my mum, telling her, and she's like, do you want me to come in? I was like, no, I'm sure I'm fine, very dismissive of the whole situation. She lives near Oxford, and I was like, fine. And then I called my brother, who was in a meeting, and I said, look, he said, I'm in a meeting, speak to you later. And I messaged him, go, they think there's something wrong with my heart. I'm just going home to get my stuff, but I'm going back to hospital, so give me a call when you're free. And obviously he calls me immediately, and was like, is it, everything okay? And I said, look, I genuinely don't know, but this is what I'm doing. Anyway, so went back in, went to A&E, and again, they were amazing. Checked me in. I was in the bay, in the hospital, waiting then for the bed. And at this stage, I guess there wasn't a lot of communication. It was really just about understanding that I needed to be monitored and to understand, what was it, and for more tests ultimately to be done. But I remember, the concern, the uncertainty, cancelling my plans for the rest of the day, and just being kind of thrown into this, whirlwind, I guess, of thoughts and emotions and uncertainty. But my family also, they all came and visited, and kind of, again, I was just kind of waiting to kind of see what was going on. But yeah, that was what happened next. Thanks for watching. To find out more about the charities that help support those with heart conditions, their families and loved ones, please have a look at the British Heart Foundation, Cardiomyopathy UK, and Save 9 Lives. Feel free to comment on the video and subscribe.